I'm Frank, and this is the Yamanote Line Ramen series. We are in Shinagawa right now, Shinagawa Station. And Shinagawa Station is known for being a big transport hub. It's busy, definitely corporate, and not honestly known for a lot of great ramen. However, one of my favorite shops in all of Tokyo is tucked away in this area, and that's the place we're going to be featuring. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Yamanote Line Ramen series, where I'm eating ramen at every single stop along Tokyo's most well-known train circle, one station at a time. This is episode 7. Last stop was Takanawa Gateway, where I had ramen at a French restaurant. Yes, really, a place that only serves ramen for 2 hours every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. A unique experience to say the least. Today, we're in Shinagawa. As we swing south, we're entering parts of the city I've spent a lot of time in. You could say we're heading into my old neck of the woods. I'll talk more about how I've spent time here, what I think of the area overall, and where Shinagawa fits into the Tokyo map. Shinagawa is a major transport hub. Busy, sleek, and definitely corporate. But when it comes to ramen, not exactly overflowing with options. In fact, with the old ramen street now gone, I had to stretch just a little outside of the station to find a worthy bowl. But the ramen shop we're visiting today is one of my absolute favorites in all of Tokyo, and I think it's worth the short walk. Let's hit the ground. One of my favorite escapes around Shinagawa is the Takanawa Grand Prince Hotel. The gardens there are lush, quiet, very old money Shinagawa as well. A green hidden gem in the middle of all these towers tucked into a quiet residential pocket. There's even an aquarium nearby if you're here with family. And speaking of hidden gems, we've just launched a new service at JapanFoodTravels.com. Beyond ramen tours, we craft food-focused itineraries across Japan, and our team personally guides you through them. That means curated dining, private cars, and experiences you won't find on your own. If you're after a higher level of service, we'd love to take care of you. Details in the description. Oh my god, it is so flippin' hot out right now, but I will not stray from the mission. We are going to be visiting Chuukasoba Waka. Again, one of my favorite ramen restaurants in all of Tokyo, and we're gonna be doing something different. We're gonna be featuring one of their gentei bowls. Gentei is basically meaning limited time, and some ramen shops, they do gentei bowls. It might be a completely different bowl from one day to the next, and Waka is particularly famous for their gentei bowls. But their gentei bowls are referred to as Sanmi Ittai, basically meaning Trinity or harmony between three altogether. The concept is that they're taking 3 ingredients and blending them into the soup. I have no idea what it's going to be today, but I'm super excited because this is something they're known for. I look forward to this surprise. Let's begin with a recap of Chuukasoba Waka. Now again, I got their gentei or their Sanmi Ittai ramen. And when you go into Waka, you walk up the stairs and immediately you're gonna see a handwritten note about what is going in their Trinity Ramen or their Sanmi Ittai ramen. And this time around, I saw as I walked in, they had niboshi or dried fish, hamaguri clams, as well as ebi or shrimp. These 3 ingredients. That was the trinity for today. And let's just say that the soup was fantastic. It was seasoned with soy sauce, a lighter soy sauce, and those flavors that I just described, or those 3 ingredients that I just described, shone beautifully through the soup. And harmony was definitely there, but not in the way that every sip I had, I was getting each of those 3. It was more like with one sip, I'm like, oh, there are the clams. With another sip, oh, there are the shrimp. Another sip, there's the dried fish. Everything was beautifully presented in terms of the flavor, and I really dug that soup. I mean, this isn't their first rodeo. They make great ramen. They're already using clams in the soup, so no surprise that this was a knockout. Now, if we want to contrast that to their regular shoyu ramen, which is excellent, by the way, and what a lot of people will order if it's their first time visiting, their shoyu ramen is basically that with the clams in the soup and some of those seafood flavors, but with more chicken and pork flavor, giving the soup a certain meatiness. And the similarities otherwise are there for the noodles and toppings. We've got relatively thin noodles that are actually on the softer side. This is what you see sometimes in more refined shoyu bowls. Toppings, you've got nice sheets of chashu. And by the way, in this limited time ramen, I ordered all the toppings. You've got nice chashu, beautiful egg, dumplings, which they're very much known for. Dumplings were great, nice ginger, pork flavor inside, fluffy wrappers, mema bamboo shoots, spring onions. And I don't remember it happening every time I visited Waka. And I visited many times, by the way, but this time around, oh my God, that soup was piping hot. And it was so hot outside already as it is. So when I walked in, I was just, oh my God, I was sweating up a storm because
The soup temperature was so hot. Great bowl, oh my god. And I might have liked this one over their regular shoyu ramen, which is fantastic by the way. But this one to me was just more interesting. And if you're not about fish or seafood, of course, get the regular shoyu ramen. So you get more of that chicken, pork flavor harnessed. But oh, that was so good. Now for the tsukemen or dipping ramen, you can get shio or shoyu. I think I lean towards the shio. It's got a wonderful, bright, radiant flavor. Those chicken and clam flavors really stand out when you get the shio. And this is third wave tsukemen, or I should say kombusui tsukemen, where basically the noodles are resting in a bed of kelp water. A little bit slimy as a result of that, but nice subtle sea flavors because of the kombusui or kelp water. So long story short, no matter what you order at Waka, you'll be sorted. Whether you get the shoyu or shio ramen, shoyu or shio tsukemen or dipping ramen, or their limited time bowl. Now, coming back to gentei ramen, let's talk about that real quickly. Gentei ramen is a lot of fun because this is an opportunity for ramen restaurants to get creative and showcase something different, something unusual. Maybe they have some leftover ingredients that they want to use and make into a unique ramen. This is a way maybe for the ramen shop's apprentice to show his or her skills.
Wax on, wax off.
Nothing comes to mind right now. My brain's not working because of the heat, perhaps. Not an excuse, but I'm gonna put some unique gentei ramen on screen here that I've had that I think would be fun to share as I'm talking about gentei ramen. One of my resolutions for this year, even though we're well through half the year, should be to eat more gentei ramen. Normally when I visit a ramen shop, especially one that's far out of the way, I will be getting their signature bowl. That's it, one and done. Don't always have time to grab gentei ramen, but I should be grabbing more of it because gentei ramen again is a lot of fun. And I think today certainly revealed that. Now, if we talk about Shinagawa as a whole, let's say the area around Shinagawa Station, you've got similar vibes to Takanawa Gateway, the previous station that we featured in the series. And that makes sense because Shinagawa Station is divided into two in my head, and it technically is divided into two. We've got the Takanawa side and also the Konan side. The Takanawa side is close to Takanawa Gateway Station. They're basically right next to each other, so understandably similar vibes. No matter what side you're on though, Shinagawa, it's basically tall high-rises, offices and residences. That's what Shinagawa is. It feels very corporate because again, there are a lot of offices here, to the point that you see getting off the train to the Konan side, there's what I call the Shinagawa March. Basically, there's an area with all these TV monitors that are set up vertically as ads and everyone marching in this line. It just looks very, I don't know, George Orwell in a way. Now, if we talk a bit more about Shinagawa Station, it's an area that I would come to a good amount of time as a child. I had some friends that lived out here and I still come here. It's a big hub. If I'm getting on the bullet train to go to Kyoto or Osaka, for example, I will go through Shinagawa. That was the case when I was a kid. It's the case now. It's a big transportation hub, no doubt about it. And I just described the area around the station. Yeah, there's some fun things to do. There's shopping. It's unfortunate that they tore down what used to be a ramen street, and that's been basically bulldozed to make way for more development. The story of a lot of the areas I think we'll be visiting on this side of Tokyo with all this development. Now, where it's maybe a little bit more interesting is by the water where I am. It is a bit industrial on the waterfront here in Tokyo, as I described in I think a previous episode. But once you go over more to Shinagawa Seaside, as they call it, or Tennozu Isle, you do have some cool cafes and restaurants overlooking the water, like TY Harbor behind me. TY Harbor, it is a little pricier, a little bougier. The people that run TY Harbor also run restaurants like Beacon, Ivy Place, and it is nice, again, that you have places like this overlooking the water. There are not as many in Tokyo as there are in other waterfront cities around the world. So if you're in Shinagawa, the station, yeah, I get a little bit of the salaryman vibe, that march I described, but outside of that, feel free to hang out by the water, where I think it's a bit more interesting, if not much more interesting than the station area itself. And that's kind of how I feel about Shinagawa, in a nutshell. Last thing I'll mention ramen shop wise is that if you're not going to Waka, Jiro does have a branch here in Shinagawa. And it's not one of the top ranked Jiro. And I haven't been to the Shinagawa branch actually, but I'm sure it's fantastic. It's like a 3.71 or something like that on Tabelog. If you want Jiro ramen, Shinagawa also has you covered. And it's closer to Kita Shinagawa Station, which is actually the closest station to Waka if you don't want to make the hike from Shinagawa Station to Waka or Ramen Jiro. I think that's a wrap. We've talked a lot about ramen in Shinagawa and Shinagawa as a whole, and a little bit about gentei ramen. Hope you enjoyed this episode. In the next episode, we will be visiting Osaka as the train curves around the clock You'll get similar vibes in Osaki. And as always, I promise we'll be having excellent ramen at the next stop as well. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next episode and the next stop, Osaki Station. Thanks for tuning in. Frank from 5am Ramen signing out.